It's me again, Nate Bird Jones. We're going to describe a real world situation that presents another formal logical contradiction that mirrors the structure of what apologists commonly call the Islamic dilemma. The assertion of mutual exclusives claims is simultaneously true. This is not a religious argument. This is an argument from classic logic using familiar apologetic framework to explain why the position taken by the state of South Dakota in my case cannot be coherently defended. The fixed facts are undisputed. A joint bank account existed with two lawful account holders, Nathan Joseph Jones, me, primary account holder opened under my social security number, Kyle Nicole Jones, my wife, she's of course, the joint user, obviously. By law, joint ownership confers equal legal access, equal dominion, equal control. The state treated deposits in joint account as evidence of theft, relied entirely on cash deposits, performed no forensic tracing, identified no marked bills, conducted no exclusive control and analysis. The owner, which me is, I was not charged, not questioned, not named in the warrant, not treated as a suspect or material witness. The account contained mixed funds, including federal unemployment funds, for the reason of the trial, because I sued my employer and won a settlement, as well as SSI disability funds for a child with Phelan-McDermott syndrome, and then my children's paychecks because I have 7 kids. My oldest is 25, down to 1 years old. But at the end of the result, they charged, on the joint account, they charged my wife, which was eventually acquitted. These events already occurred. They're not speculative. So these are not, I'm not speculating or not giving any type of analysis or opinion on something that's in current motion. This already did happen, and anybody can look it up. Kyle Nicole Jones versus South Dakota, or contact McPherson County, South Dakota, from Leola Courthouse to access the information. Um, the state's necessary claim, based on its actions, the state necessarily asserted the following proposition. The same pool of jointly owned funds can be criminal or non-criminal, depending on solely on which account holder is being examined, despite identical legal access and ownership. This claim creates this contradiction. Violation of the law of contradiction. The classic law of non-contradiction states a proposition cannot be both true and false at the same time. At the same respect applied here. Either the account itself is either tainted by theft, so ownership should matter, or the account is lawful. Neither owner can be presumed guilty without independent proof. What cannot logically occur is treating the same account as criminal for one holder while treating the same account as innocent for the other, which this occurred. I was innocent, my wife wasn't. Without distinguishing access, ownership, or intent, that is a formal contradiction. And this, in structural, theologically, the Islamic dilemma analogy is structural, is commonly framed as the earlier scriptures are affirmed to be true, which they are true. Those same scriptures are declared corrupted. So is my bank account corrupted, but I'm not corrupted? Both both claims cannot be true simultaneously. The structure of the dilemma mirrors this case. The bank account is affirmed as evidence of theft. The account holder is declared irrelevant and innocent, so I was innocent, but my wife wasn't innocent. Both claims are asserted simultaneously. The account is corrupted. Ownership matters. If ownership does not matter, corruption cannot be asserted. There's no third logical, coherent option. Well, in their case, there is. The account was corruption, and two people can be corrupted, not corrupted. The fungibility of cash is by definition without tracing, segregation, or forensic analysis is illogically impossible to claim. So, and because of the instance of that this dollar is stolen, but that identical dollar is not. So, to determine $1 bill from another, it has to be marked, or the serial numbers have to be documented. Because to maintain such a claim requires special pleading, an exception created solely to preserve the conclusion which a non-crime can commit a crime. And if it's logical logic, special pleading invalidates an argument, which it does, because how can you determine if a cash deposit is stolen or not stolen, or if it came from a strip bar, or it was handed to you from your church pastor? I mean, I don't know. So this creates the problem of the non-crime committing a crime problem. By excluding the account owner while criminalizing the property, my property was criminalized, but I wasn't charged. The state implicitly asserted in South Dakota versus state of South Dakota versus Kyle Nicole Jones, the property is criminal, but the ownership, me, and I'm irrelevant, I'm innocent, and no legal actor exists. So therefore, they just pinned it on Kyle, and not me, and so I'm still can't understand that logic. This leads to the absurd proposition, like I said before, a non-crime committed a crime. So in my case, in Kyle Nicole Jones versus South Dakota, a non-crime committed a crime. But I guess criminal laws does not permit crimes without actors. In this case, where is the actor? The acquittal did not resolve this contradiction, exposed it. The jury was presented with money, with no money, no tracing, no owner, selective blame. The configuration necessarily produces unreasonable doubt, because if the owner wasn't subjected to scrutiny, then therefore how could you say you had probable cause, and therefore how could you say a sub-user on a joint account, a wife, could steal the husband's money, but the husband is innocent? And this matters beyond just law, because if this logic stands, just like in the Islamic dilemma, then institutions can assert mutually exclusives and rely on authority rather than coherence. The result is power replacing reason, assertion replacing proof. Innocence becomes conditional. This is a dangerous in any system, religious, legal, or secular, because we're not relying on facts. We're just relying on how could I get out of this situation just because, or just trust me, bro. Just as an apologists argue that contradictions validate theological claims, contradictions also validate legal and moral claims. In my opinion, that's where legal and moral claims derive from, is the Bible. The same money cannot be stolen and not stolen. The same money cannot be criminal and innocent. The same facts cannot justify prosecution and exclusion. Contradictions cannot be made true by authority. Unless this contradiction is resolved, every proceeding built on it remains logically indefensible. So in the aspect is basically saying that the cash money I touch is innocent, but the cash money my wife touch is guilty. I guess these people do believe in Islam, like maybe they are Muslim. Very interesting. Day we live in.